Hey guys, it's Bill from the Village Toy Chest. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to fuse the Firework finale. It's something I've been doing in the past for folks, and today I'm going to touch base on an actual example I'm doing for a customer here in town. And the first step is knowing what your budget's going to be to establish the product selection. So this particular one's about $600, and the first step we're going to do is pick out product, which I've already done for you guys. So the product's been selected. And that's based on performance and duration and stuff like that. So I'll give you a quick view here of some of my notes. These are the items that I'm going to feature in this finale, okay? And then once I got the product selected, I kind of do a general visual map of these little squares indicating the type of item it is, and it's got some important numbers here for me to follow, and those are the duration in seconds. There's a strategy behind this, or there's a logical placement of this product, so that when you start to show, or the finale from this end here, everything kind of flows. It starts off gradual, it peaks up, and then everything ends. Well, hopefully everything ends in a nice smooth finish. You'll see some notes down here, these lines, and like I said, this is just my way of doing it. It's not the only way. This is just the way I've been doing it. I'm going to share it with you just the same. There's a lot of different ways to do this process, but those fuse represent, or these lines represent the fuses and the type of fuse I'm going to use based on the burn rate of the fuse, the duration of the cakes, and how I want things to go off. So right now I'm going to stop talking, and then I'm going to take you a step by step as to what I use, the equipment involved, and the prep work. Hey guys, now we're going to show you how to prep these cakes before mounting them to the board. We're going to get our basic cake, and we're going to find the fuse port here, okay? Then you're going to carefully take your knife just a couple inches above the bottom of the cake, because we don't want to cut there, because the fusing runs down towards the bottom of the cake. So we're going to cut up above it. I've already done this earlier, so I'm just doing it for demonstration purposes. We're going to lift this up, and we're going to expose the inner workings. You see all the fuse here? These are the connector fuses that fire each individual tube. There's a reason why I'm doing this, and I'm going to use the word redundancy. We're not only going to fuse to this Visco, which is the main fuse that comes out of the cake, but we're also going to tie in to one of these connector fuses as a secondary source of ignition. So we won't need to access all this, but I just did this to show you what's all involved underneath here. The most important thing is you do not want to cut these fuses, as it'll stop your cake from firing. I'll grab another one real fast. On this one here, if you're not experienced or not comfortable doing this, maybe score the top, okay, and maybe just use your hand to tear it up. I'm used to doing this. There's a main tube down the middle here, so I slice down the middle, and I slice the bottom, and I expose it. And this particular cake here, I don't know if you can see my cut line right there. See the connector fuse? That's why I did this one. There's only 3 tubes here. But again, we want to access this fuse and this fuse. Is it overkill? No. When it comes to a finale, there's no such thing as overkill. You get one shot to get it right, and this is how we do that. So you're going to go through and open all your cakes up at the base where the main point of entry is, and then I'll show you how to secure them to a board. Okay, now we're going to show you how to secure the cakes to the boards. We've already prepped our cakes. In the last step, I showed you how to expose the internal workings of the fuse. Okay, and now we're going to show you how to secure them to the board. Again, I refer to my map. Lets me know the placement of the items on the board. Okay, and I kind of do a dry run. I just set them on here to see where I want them, and now I'm simply going to adhere them to the board. I use liquid nails. You could use any type of industrial adhesive. And I'll be honest with you, this might be a false sense of security, but at the very least what it does is it keeps your cakes from moving around in transport. A lot of people simply put cakes on a hard surface, and that's good enough. We like to take it a step further, affix them to the board. Let's be honest, if a cake's going to malfunction, that glue's not going to hold the cake down. It's usually the tubes that blow apart anyway. So I'll show you how to do that real fast, and I'll show you a quick step for some of these, because some of these have this paper bottom. I like to just take it, cut the paper off, and expose the wood base. There's no sense bonding it to the paper. That's not going to hold nothing. These other cakes here are kind of encased in a nice hard cardboard. They're all enclosed. There's no need. If I start to cut this off, the whole side's going to come off. So again, I'm just going to affix the adhesive to this and set it down. But I'll show you real fast how we do that. Like I said, I purposely put these where I want them. We simply just run a little bit of caulking, stop, drop, smack it down, wiggle it in place, and it sits there. Same thing with this next one. Okay. Now, in this particular finale, it's basically going to have two rows. I'm purposely putting the cakes on one side with the fuses on the outside for simple reason. It's easier to access and to fuse the items. So I'm going to continue going through all my boards and gluing these cakes down. Once these are dry, we'll come back and then we'll start the fusing process. Okay, now our cakes are glued to the boards. Again, we did this the night before. Like I told you, mainly just to keep things secure during transport and handling. We've opened up our access to our internal fusing, and now we are going to prepare to fuse. I already know I'm using a 4 second per foot burn rate for this segment of the board. I'm just going to show you quickly how I fuse the fuse to these cakes, and at the end I'll go through and fuse the rest of them. Then I'll show you how we make these connections. I'm going to bore a little hole here, and there's a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, but I will discuss that as I go along. I end up piercing my finger in the process. All right. Okay. I like to use these little 4-inch cable ties. All right. I slide my fuse through that, and I slide that little piece of visco in there too. It's just another point of ignition. Okay, snug it. I just snug it lightly for now, so I get the right spacing. Okay, then I'm going to go through and make this other connection on this other cake. This is where you want to be careful. You don't want to pull these fuses. These fuses can easily be pulled out, so you want to be real careful when you're working with them. Like I said, just want to snug them up enough so they're touching for the transfer of the fire. I like to do that. Okay. And it never hurts to put a second one in. Okay. So not real tight. I'm going to slide this in here through that hole, and there's a reason why I'm doing that. Now I'm going to adjust my spacing on it a little bit. I want about equal distance because I'm going to have boards that are going to be butted up against this main board, and we're going to tie into those. So I just want to make sure there's enough fuse. Once I get the right adjustment, I'll snug them a little bit more. Nothing real tight. Like I said, as long as they're touching, that's going to be real sufficient. Take my little cutters here. Make sure you don't cut your fuse. Just going to clean that up. Okay, connection's made. Now we close this flap. And it's all starting to make sense, right? We got these flaps here for a reason. And that's just to give added protection to the internal fusing. In case there's any stray fire, we minimize the chance for ignition. Now you have this exposure and this exposure. And all we do there for that is simply just put a little piece of tape over it like that. Okay? These are exposed right now, but once our boards are done, a customer is going to make the connection to field, and at that point it's going to be up to him if he wants to cover the fusing, or if his finale is far enough away from his main body to show that, so there won't be no concern for that ignition to occur accidentally. This is the end result, guys. Quick walkthrough. We started with the budget. We made a product selection. We prepped our cakes. We planned our show. We secured the cakes to the board. We fused them up, and now everything is labeled, ready to go. This is a quick, simple drop in the field type finale for our customer. and I'll show you real fast what they have to do. These are like kind of module units, okay? All he has to do is make these connections in the field. The boards get slid together, A plus A. He gets a diagram too, puts a cable tie, and makes the connection, okay? And he'll do this on both sides, wherever it's diagrammed. This particular piece here is an offshoot of the Finale. It's the Mega Brocade. It doesn't need a board. It's sufficient in the field by itself. He'll make that connection as well. I want to show you something else. Talk about redundancy. If you notice on this cake right here, we got this fuse. Okay, it looks like slow fuse, but it is not. And that brings me to an important point. When you're using fuse, make sure you know the burn rate and properly label your fuse when you're done with it and put it in a baggie so it avoids absorbing moisture, because moisture can affect the burn rate. This is redundancy, so as the two fuses are burning on both sides, this here will automatically jump to either side. Just by chance something does not work, there's another opportunity to ignite the Finale. And that's done in 2 other locations on this cake. Is it overkill? Like I told you before, you only get one shot to get it right. This is the Finale. Let's pay close attention to detail. And of course, this is the end of it too. So, real simple layout. This can be done for any scale, any size show. So now we're going to call the customer, have them pick it up, and move on to the next one. Thanks for watching.